Hello, everybody. Can everyone hear me? Yes, wonderful. Well, good day for whatever time zone you're in. My name is Adrian Giacca, and I live in Revelstoke, British Columbia in Canada. Where are you guys from? From Los Angeles. Very nice. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a presentation on microhomes and this project that I'm working on in Revelstoke to build a microhome community. And throughout this process, I'm going to set this 20-minute timer here. So this will be a presentation. I'll try my best to answer all the questions later, but then hopefully we get on the mic and we can do some questions at the very end. So we'll have 10 minutes to do that. So thanks everyone for joining me. I'm really excited to be here. And I'm going to share my screen here. And introduce you to the neighbourhood. So this project started for me during a 7-month road trip throughout Canada and the United States. My background is in landscape design. I graduated from a landscape design diploma and started my own company since. Been designing people's backyards and front yards and found that I could influence a lot more people in landscapes through creating community instead of individual backyards. And so when I did this 8-month road trip, I studied permaculture, sustainable communities, co-living communities, people who are living sustainably and in this network of cohabitation. And so when I came back to Canada, I settled into the snowy town of Revelstoke, British Columbia. And it's a really, truly remarkable place here. This is a community that is growing rapidly, and we are a resort municipality. So if some of you have gone skiing here, this is a really attractive place to live. What I found most special about this particular community is the community itself. It's the people. It's the opportunity to connect and do really special things together. But what's happening in this town is really quite sad in so many ways, that there is a pattern of gentrification in resort municipalities where one community outprices the other, and those who built our towns end up leaving because they can no longer afford home ownership, or that their homes become too expensive that they can't oftentimes afford the property taxes. So they cash out and move away. And I think that's really sad. So what we're trying to do here is create an opportunity so that homeowners and individuals, high participants of our community, can live in their towns. So the goal of this project has really been about, can we design a pilot project of microhomes in a pocket community neighborhood that creates perpetually affordable home ownership? I'll get into that. We'll also talk about sustainable lifestyle practices and a renewed connection to people in place. So what was really interesting to me is, okay, how big do these tiny homes have to be? Can we even put tiny homes on properties? What are the zoning and bylaws and allow? But also, what amenities are really important in a community dynamic? And then how much would it cost to create this endeavor? And can we create housing that is perpetually and permanently affordable? So we started looking at all the different properties that are available in this town. So this is the Columbia River that connects to the dams that provide a lot of water into the United States. So we're quite connected in so many ways. But Revelstoke is a small heritage community, primarily based on logging, mining, and resources. And so as the dynamics changing to more tourism-based economy, we're getting so many different people coming into town, and it's rising the prices of real estate. So what I wanted to show here is really just a demonstration of what we can do with available land in Revelstoke. And so this is the original high school of Revelstoke here in the corner, and this is the empty school property here. So that is approximately 16 single-family lots if we were to subdivide them into single-family residential zones. So This property here will have 6 lots, and we're able to propose 8 homes on it. So that's approximately 0.7 of an acre. This is the diagram here of the community design. And what I really wanted to do here is pick up on the inspiration that has already been done before. Because when we're trying to create something that is new and radical to most zoning and municipal structures, is that we need to pick up on elements that have been done before and demonstrate those so that we can create this project here in Revelstoke. So if you're interested in this sort of idea, research pocket community design or small-scale neighborhoods. And so this picks up on a lot of the same design elements. And you'll see here one of the main key features of this design is that community is at the very heart of the project. And right here in the center is our community building. So this community building is an opportunity for potlucks, your strata board meetings. It's games night. It may be a massage therapy or a yoga session. But everything surrounding the neighborhood would be parkland space and fire pit and maybe a children's playground, right? But you'll notice that all the homes also face onto this sort of figure 8 of paving that would allow the community to connect into this space. One of the main key elements of this design is parking and vehicular traffic. So we'll notice that in all of our neighborhoods across Western and North America, it picked up on this idea of the Roman grid that established in Europe. And as we proliferated across the country through Western expansion, we have prioritized the vehicle over the pedestrian. And so if you look at your neighborhoods, it's where do you spend space in your community, right? Where are the common grounds, the placemaking? Where is that happening? And oftentimes we look at our neighborhoods and it's the Costco parking lot or the Walmart parking lot because we haven't really designed those spaces for us to connect and collaborate. Even in my neighborhood here, I was fortunate enough to buy a home with my girlfriend, and we live in a strata of a modular home park, and very much similar structure as this sort of community design. But unfortunately, all the homes are located on streets, and we all have fences. And we did a survey to really analyze, how many neighbors do we all know? And there's some 200 people that live up here, and there's very limited connection happening because we have this prioritization of the vehicle. So by parking our cars on the outside of the design, we invite people to participate in the community by walking and engaging with your members. Simple design projects. So the green bubbles here are bioswales, and this collects rainwater. It also provides privacy buffer, and it's an opportunity for a food forest guild, which allows you to grow your own food in your own backyard. On the outskirts of the property, we have agriculture for vertical growing systems, and on this outside piece here, we have food orchards that allow the individuals to participate in growing food, so that you create this intergenerational relationship where elders are teaching kids how to grow food. And I think that's so important in community. And on the outside, you'll notice that we've expanded the concrete or interlocking pavers so that you're engaging the wider community, so that they're participating in your micro village. And so what this does is we're looking at reestablishing the village dynamic. And it's so interesting because it's not so long ago that we all used to live in smaller communities and know our neighbors and trust each other and instill behaviors and habits that ensure us to participate in community, but also help your neighbor when they need daycare. But yet our capitalistic society today is so prioritized towards owning and doing everything yourselves that we realize that we don't have those resources as individuals, and that we actually need to share those things so that we can have more resources as a community. So what I've done here is created these 3D renderings that really help us to understand what this place feels and looks like. And at the very heart of it, it's all about how it's established from the very beginning. So it's this concept of shared land, right? So we can develop this community as a bare land strata, which allows each and every homeowner to own the home and the footprint of which the home sits on. That allows you to have a freehold title, mortgage, and insurance. So this is a really key point to creating home ownership, because the reality is that North Americans, we create wealth through home ownership. It's how we invest and we grow and we can make more money. But yet it's a unsustainable solution because, as we all know, across all of our communities, property values are rising astronomically, and every generation is missing out on the opportunity of previous generations. And that's a really big problem, because I'll leave you with the question of what happens to our middle class when we can't afford home ownership. And so what we're able to do here is create opportunities for first-time homeowners. We're creating opportunities for seniors who are looking to downsize and open up their larger homes for families. We can create these homes for single parents and children. And what we're really trying to establish is an opportunity for all of community to participate. This isn't a low-income housing solution, but it's a housing solution for all, and prioritized for those who care about community, care about sustainability, and ultimately are high contributing members to their society in their neighborhoods, so that we don't gentrify these people out of our communities, which oftentimes are the contributors and volunteers who participate in nonprofits, who also own businesses. And it's so important to make sure that those people stay there. And so when we try to blend this idea of agriculture and neighborhood, we get the agrihood, right? And what we're able to do here is, this is really a demonstration of vertical growing systems, so that we can create this opportunity of maximizing every square footage of our land to grow food. So for example, in Revelstoke, 90% of our food comes from outside of our community. We're along the Trans-Canada Highway with about 2.5 hours from any major city. So if for whatever reason that highway closes, from accidents to avalanche to a pandemic, Revelstoke runs out of food in 3 days. And so it's paramount that we as communities know how to grow food ourselves. And so we have food orchards and vertical growing systems and greenhouses. And if you're interested in building this particular unit yourself, you can download it off of IKEA, and it's called the Grow Sphere, which is super cool. And what we're trying to do here is create amenities in this landscape and this neighborhood, so that we all don't have to have garages. We all don't have to have tools and lawnmowers and snowblowers, that we can share these things as a community. This is an amenity building where it could be used as a garage, could be used as a co-working space, a library, a tool library, but really it's prioritized for the individual. Found that creating a veranda there for an enclosed porch would be really appealing for those kicking off the snow in their boots and maybe storing their snowboards and skis. But then you'll notice that all the homes, they face the courtyard, which creates an opportunity to, as you exit your door, you're making that connection. You're creating those intersections in your neighborhoods that you can collaborate with your neighbors. And also keep an eye on the kids right outside your door. All these homes are 2 bedrooms. And what I've been focusing on here is an opportunity to create the most affordable solution. So 1 bedrooms are appealing for a single like myself, or with me and my girlfriend. But if I decide to have a child, then I'm going to have to move out of this community. So this is a great opportunity for us to encourage single parent families or young families or seniors or people who need an office space, but that you're creating more affordability by having additional bedrooms. In between the homes, you'll see the bioswales for privacy as well. So this is a really key point in this community design, is this blend between the eco-village and home ownership. And they're oftentimes on two ends of the spectrum, right? So on one hand, you have the eco village where you do everything together, you share everything, you participate, and you garden together, and you work together, and everything is done in community. And for, I would believe, most of our society, they would find that extremely uncomfortable. But a very powerful and intentional way to live. And then on the other hand, we have the modern sort of capitalistic opportunity of home ownership, where we save lots of money for a down payment, we give all our money to the banks, and we pay these mortgages, but it provides us with such an opportunity to have our home for ourselves and build on that investment, and accrue in value, and sell and buy and grow and create wealth, right? It's a huge opportunity. But so what we're trying to create here is somewhere in the middle, where that opportunity still exists, but we're accruing value at an interest and inflation plus maintenance. So, for example, if you bought the home at $250,000, your valuation of that home would only rise at roughly 2%. That is in a calculation of maintenance, interest, and inflation, so that you're not getting these wildly expanding speculation of housing in your communities. So that when someone buys this house for $200,000, they're not selling it tomorrow for $300,000, right? So that it's growing perpetually. And then blending that in with the eco village, it creates us an opportunity to have home ownership, but also participate in your community. And I think that's so important in today's society, where we're realizing that we need each other, and we need to be connecting, because that's a very powerful way to live, and it's good for our mental health. So this is sort of a final view here of the neighborhood, the walking paths, and the mountains in the backyard. So this is a rough cost estimate. I recognize that all these numbers are not completely accurate, but this is a great place to start, and it creates an ideal and a benchmark that we're trying to achieve. So let's say we purchased that 0.7 of an acre for $600,000. I know as a downtown property in Revelstoke, that's probably much more expensive, but there are other more rural lands for $600,000 that you can get multiple acreages. So then we look at the small homes. These small homes are costed at $200 a square foot. It's likely much more expensive today because of COVID and more, but let's just look at this as a benchmark to try to create efficient but simple homes. The same evaluation is for the amenities and landscaping. And then if we look at the utilities and legal, roughly you can expect it to be about 20% of the total cost of your construction. So if we were to expect that this development would cost roughly $2 million, we could expect that these 8 homes would cost roughly $250,000. And so if we look at what a home in Revelstoke costs, in 2017, it was $386,000. Today, it went up 53%, and now it's $567,000. So the cost of housing is rising astronomically, and that means 60% of our residents in our community here can no longer afford to qualify for a mortgage. So that is a huge problem, and I'm sure many of you experience that in your communities as well. So if we were to develop this development, we can create housing that is 76% difference in price, while also being $100 at $600 a bedroom. That's really quite affordable to many in Revelstoke. So I'm going to open it up for some questions, and I'm going to link us to a 3D video. And let's see here, how do I do that? Share link. Okay. So hopefully this comes out nice and clear for you guys. And apologize for not answering all your questions, but I really just wanted to get through that so everyone can get a clear understanding of what the heck I'm doing here in Revelstoke. And if anyone wants to grab the mic and talk to me personally, I'd be pleased to speak with you. And otherwise, send your questions away, and I'll talk about the development process of the Bearland Strata. Yeah, so we're currently working on this right now with our with the lawyers, and essentially it allows us an opportunity to develop a strata, which means that each individual homeowner has an opportunity to have home ownership. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I just grabbed the mic.
Hi, I just had a quick question. Hi, so you're starting out really big, but if I wanted to get land, let's say I can find land for maybe 3 to 5 acres and do something similar and pay about maybe $5,000 to $10,000. I can do something similar and maybe work my way up to what you're looking to do because yours is like really big. That's like what a lot of people try to work towards. A lot of communities that I'm looking at currently, they don't even have those things. They just have the little amenities. But it's really good to try to really focus on having that full community. I'm going tiny and I'm really nervous on I don't want to be in an RV park. I don't want to be, with people that their mindset isn't the same. So it's hard because again, I want to end up having a community, but yours is so big where it's so good that maybe that's something that we can look forward to. But how can you drum that down?
Yeah, well, thank you, Cheryl. I really appreciate the comment. So, looking at this, it's 0.7 of an acre, so it's really not a big piece of land, but we're trying to pack a lot into it, right? But if you were to start on your own, I think the first step is to look at what is your zoning and what is your bylaws that allows in your town. So if you're able to purchase land that has no zoning, well, heck, you can go forward right away and start inviting people to live on your property. But when it comes to working with municipalities, it's challenging because so many of them don't have zoning that is appropriate for this sort of development because we have residential zones that only allow for one home or one dwelling per property. So what we're working on developing with our municipality is either creating our own comprehensive development zone, which would allow, after it's created, anyone the opportunity to use that zone. But hopefully through our official community plan process and updating of our zoning, they will allow pocket communities. So I guess to answer your question more clearly, if you're wanting to start small, I think just finding those people that have similar interests like you and start to build that community and then find that piece of land and start developing it. Look for services, decide whether you need septic, electrical, and I'll be happy to help out if you have any questions.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. If anyone else would like to jump on the mic, we've got another 6 minutes. So who would take care of the gardens? Yeah, I think, so as a strata, you are a corporation that you all pay a strata fee. So you can either pay someone to take care of the gardens, but I think ideally, the whole purpose of having a community is that you can share and do those responsibilities yourselves. And you can save on your strata fees, right? So just so you're all aware of my current process right now, I've been presenting this for the last 2 years here in Revelstoke. And then most recently, last year, I was awarded a $15,000 grant by RBC through their Youth Future Launch Initiative, which allows me to share this with all of you. So my commitment through this presentation is that if any of you want to move this project forward in your community, I'm here to help. And that's what I want to share. So if you want to share these presentations with your building staff, I'd be happy to help any way I can. And so what we've recently done is collaborated with our local housing authority here, and they have adopted the project officially. So now as a nonprofit, we're able to apply for federal and provincial funding and partner and create relationships with our municipalities so we can work on this together. So this is a really great opportunity for us to demonstrate a pilot project so that we can grow this idea and share this across Canada and the United States so we can create more sustainable neighborhoods. I've been seeing how do people connect with me. My website is remotelandscape.com. I'll just toss that in here. And so I'm a landscape designer, and I help people visualize and create 3D renderings and images that help sell their projects. I'd be happy to help anyone else design their tiny homes or design their communities. But you can kind of follow me along there. And if you want to reach out to me personally, you can reach me at Adrian at remotelandscape.com. So please email me. I'd be very interested in connecting with you. Okay, we got Adam on the mic.
Hi there.
Hey,
So yeah, my question is mostly about alternative styles, not just to the square footage, but say, you look like you were planning for 8 people, and I'm looking at Maine. So I'm looking at, like, say, yurt styles, round building, earth berm, to get costs low and change up of the materials, especially since the materials are getting so expensive. So I was wondering if you have any experience or know of anybody doing something similar in, like, that scale of community or size, or pointing toward each other in that circular manner, but in maybe a different, more unconventional building style than stud and stick.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So I have a background actually in some workshops that I participated in rammed earth construction, straw bale, earth bag, and plaster and clay. And so I originally wanted to do something like that, right? Because it is so innovative and unique. And the challenge is that when you're trying to present all these radical ideas, or some radical to some in the building departments, it's too complex, right? So what my vision here is trying to do things that people have already done, demonstrate that, and create a package so that we can move this initiative forward. And hopefully in later projects and phases, we can look at other building forms. Because I think rammed earth is a beautiful way to build. Earth bag construction is so cool. You can create these wicked domes, and it's just a really unique place to live. But you also have to be really wary of your climate, right? So here in Revelstoke, we get a ton of snow. So all that clay and plaster doesn't really mix well with the freeze and thaw. You're going to get cracks. It's going to be challenging. So we had to pick the best resource material that we have, which is wood. And it's one of our hugest industries here. So that's the choice that we've gone with. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I encourage you guys to move forward. That challenges that you need a really trustworthy engineer to move forward with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you for taking that question. That's a big one.
Of course. Thank you. So I understand. That this presentation will be over in a minute. I think that you guys can stick around and I can continue to ask questions. But thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you connect with me, and I can share more about what I'm doing and how I can help you out if you're thinking about doing the same. Yeah, you're very welcome. And if anyone else has questions, I'd be happy to answer. Oh, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, this is it's a passion project of mine. As a landscape designer, I've really felt like I could do something more important than design the backyards of the 1% of people that can afford them. And so I've been really passionate about trying to create a unique opportunity here. Okay, so we got a question here. How do you work with municipalities and zoning in a positive direction, as well as how to work with banks? This is a good question. So it's really all about building trust, right? And trying to do things in a way that you're not too radical, but that you're following common practices. And to be honest, I've had a few slaps